Today we will talk about the implications of Indian paradigm for positive psychology in different fields. Among different fields we'll choose education, health, healing and psychotherapy. Before we start our session, we should understand what paradigm is. Paradigm is a mental picture and pattern of thought which is usually presented as a model or pattern to explain how things can work in different fields. As I told, the topic is Indian paradigm, so we should understand the implications of Indian paradigm along with the basic features of this paradigm. The sustainable growth and development is the ultimate focus of Indian paradigm, which is not possible without self-awareness and self-realization. Self-awareness means having knowledge about our strengths and weaknesses, and it is only by understanding the weaknesses we can accept them and make efforts to overcome them. By self-realization is meant by asking the few fundamental questions of life like who am I, where I am going, what is the meaning and purpose of my life, and I am truly happy or not. By asking these questions, we can realize our self and understand what we are doing in our life and where we are going in our life. The another important focus of Indian paradigm is that not only success is important in our life, but the failures, despairs, disappointments, troubles and frustrations also are important and they give meaning to our life. By accepting them, we can move on towards the pathways of self-growth. Another important feature of Indian paradigm is that it focuses that there is no shortcut of hedonic happiness. As I told that there are two aspects of happiness, hedonic happiness and hedonic happiness. The word daemon is ingrained in the word hedonic happiness, which means our true nature. So if we want to achieve ultimate or hedonic happiness, there is no shortcut. We have to earn this type of happiness by our true efforts that we make in our lives. There are various Indian scriptures which guide us to achieve the positive qualities of the mind. The next important focus of Indian paradigm is of course the mind apart from the self, because the self growth and transcendence is possible only when we have the capabilities to control our mind. And there is a shlok in Gita which says Bandhuratmatmanastas yenatmahi vatmana jita anatmanastu shatutve vartetatmai shatrutvata. This shlok means that mind is a friend as well as an enemy. If we have the capacity, if we have the capability to control our mind, that is our lower self, with the help of our higher self, that is our intellect, only then we can achieve ultimate happiness, hedonic happiness in our life. So, Indian paradigms explains very fundamental question that why one should be good, why one should follow the positive pathway, the transcendent pathway in our life. So the focus is the self and which can be enhanced, which can be strengthened by following the 8 pathways as told by Patanjali, that is Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. These are the practices which can be followed for enhancing the self or self-growth. The implication of Indian paradigm for education is that the teachers should use those methods of teaching to promote processing of ideas and develop thinking and reasoning abilities within their students. The student-centered approach should be followed for the overall development and growth of the students and for the assimilation of knowledge. Simply imparting the knowledge is not enough until the students assimilates that knowledge with the previous one. The true growth and development is not possible. For achieving the ultimate goal of education, the students should be encouraged to learn by experiencing the concepts in real life situations. Next, the goals of teaching should be negotiated, not imposed on the students to enhance their level of motivation for achieving the true knowledge which can be fruitful for their own life. The education process should focus on collaborative and cooperative efforts between the students and the teachers. Another most important thing is that the failures of the students should be developed, should be accepted, and should help in developing the insight about the curriculum which we are imparting to the students and the methods of teaching which we are using during the course of our teaching. Teachers should encourage to their students to ask more and more questions, because by asking the question, the students can move on their pathways of self-growth. Yoga, meditation should be the part of curriculum. Yoga should be to foster the physical fitness and meditation for mental concentration. Psychological capital of the student should be developed. The psychological capital, also emphasized by positive psychology, incorporates the development of hope, optimism, resilience, and self-efficacy of students. In order to self-evaluate the efficacy of the teachers, the teachers can ask few fundamental questions to their own self. For example, they can ask how much care, trust, and respect the teacher is imparting to the students, how realistic the goals of teaching are there, and how strategic the plans are being made, how optimistic and hopeful are the students, and how connected the students feel with themselves, with others, and the largest context in which we are living.